Have you ever looked up at the sky and felt a sense of peace? Imagine, in an instant, that same sky turning into a blinding, terrifying fire. This is not a scene from a movie. This was the reality for the people of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945. Let's journey back in time, not to glorify war, but to understand its profound human cost and the enduring call for peace that rose from the ashes. Our story begins in the final desperate days of World War II. The world had been at war for 6 long years. In the Pacific, the conflict between the Allied forces and Japan was reaching a climax. The Allies demanded an unconditional surrender, but Japan's leadership was divided. Meanwhile, a top-secret project in the United States, the Manhattan Project, had just created the most powerful weapon ever known: the atomic bomb. The decision was made to use it, with the hope of forcing a swift end to the war and avoiding a costly invasion. On the morning of August 6, 1945, the city of Hiroshima was bustling. People were going to work, children were on their way to school. It was a clear, sunny day. At 8:15 a.m., an American B-29 bomber named the Enola Gay flew high above the city and released a single bomb, nicknamed Little Boy. 43 seconds later, it detonated. In a fraction of a second, a brilliant flash of light, brighter than 1,000 suns, lit up the sky. A massive fireball erupted, generating heat that reached millions of degrees. Everything near the center was vaporized instantly. A powerful shock wave and hurricane-force winds flattened buildings, trees, and everything in their path for miles. A towering mushroom cloud rose into the atmosphere, a terrifying symbol of this new destructive power. For those who survived the initial blast, a new horror began. Black rain, thick with radioactive fallout, started to fall from the sky, poisoning the land and the people. Tens of thousands of lives were lost in an instant, and many more would suffer from the long-term effects of radiation in the years to come. Hiroshima, a vibrant city, was reduced to a desolate wasteland of rubble and ash. Despite the unimaginable devastation, Japan did not surrender immediately. 3 days later, on August 9th, another bomber was dispatched, this time targeting the city of Kakura. However, thick clouds and smoke obscured the target. The plane diverted to its secondary target, Nagasaki. Nagasaki was a city nestled among hills, which slightly contained the bomb's destructive force. At 11:02 a.m., the bomb, known as Fat Man, was dropped. The explosion carved a valley of destruction through the city, wiping out homes, factories, and schools. Once again, tens of thousands of lives were extinguished in a moment, adding to the immense human tragedy. 6 days after the bombing of Nagasaki on August 15th, Emperor Hirohito announced Japan's unconditional surrender, officially ending World War II. The world breathed a collective sigh of relief, but the two cities in Japan were left to grapple with an unprecedented level of destruction and loss. From the embers of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, a powerful new movement was born. The survivors, known as Hibakusha, became some of the world's most passionate advocates for peace and nuclear disarmament. They shared their painful stories, not for revenge, but to ensure that no one else would ever suffer as they did. Today, Hiroshima and Nagasaki are thriving modern cities. But they have not forgotten their past. The Hiroshima Peace Memorial Park, with its iconic A-bomb dome, one of the few buildings left standing near the hypocenter, serves as a solemn reminder. Every year, ceremonies are held to remember the victims and to reaffirm the world's commitment to peace. The story of Hiroshima and Nagasaki is a difficult but essential part of our shared human history. It reminds us of the terrible consequences of conflict and the immense power we hold in our hands. It's a call to action for every generation to choose dialogue over destruction, understanding over hatred, and to work tirelessly for a world free from nuclear weapons. Thank you for watching, and let's all carry the message of peace forward.